UConn's been making impressive portal moves. Why don't we talk to someone who's lived the portal and the UConn life? Jack Barton. We'll talk to him coming up. You're locked on.
You are Locked On UConn, your daily podcast on the UConn Huskies, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On UConn your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Before we dive into today's show, just want to take a moment to say how thankful we are for all of you. The podcast has grown immensely, and it's because of fans like you who value the UConn content that we bring you. We're proud to say we're the only daily podcast covering UConn men's and women's basketball and football. The hoops capital of the world may start talking about the football capital of the world. Who knows? We're thrilled to bring you the coverage that you guys deserve. And to show that gratitude, we're giving back. We're donating 10% of our revenue to Husky Ticket Project, helping send underserved kids to UConn games, men's, women's basketball, football, baseball, the whole 9 yards. If you're enjoying the show, take a moment to subscribe, follow, leave a review wherever you listen. Thanks again for making Locked On UConn your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. All right, guys, I had the privilege of sitting down with Jack Barton over the holidays, and he's the type of player I want UConn to grab in the portal every damn year. Such a great person, fun interview. But before we get to Jack, I had the privilege of sitting down also with DJ Miller, an aspiring college football player who's in high school right now in Hawaii with Connecticut roots, who has gone through a ton in his life. Cancer survivor. In a military family, just had to travel a bunch because, as you guys know, military families don't stay at one base forever. So he's an absolute great kid and who I'm proud to know right now. So just sit back and enjoy the show. All right, welcome back to Locked On UConn. I have a special segment for you guys. This is a young man who I was approached by a fan who I believe it was either a friend of his, but either way, people started emailing me like, hey, I would love for you to kind of take a look at DJ's tape because he's a really up and coming college high school player out of Hawaii. Told me his story about how he is a cancer survivor when he was a kid, and dad's in the military, just military family, lived all over, but they're stationed in Hawaii. So want to bring him in a second here, but I just want to point this out that there's UConn adjacent stuff to this, right? So first off, UConn fans brought this to me. Secondly, this young man is looking potentially to play in college, and really just want to put his story out there because could UConn be a possibility? Maybe, but if not, it's a fun way to talk to a high school prospect who. I've learned a lot about his story and really appreciate all the things that he's gone through. And honestly, what this kid's gone through in 16, 17 years of his life is more than anybody should have to go through in 100 years of their life. So really appreciate him jumping on the program with me now. And let's bring him in and turn his microphone on. What's up, DJ? How are you, man?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good, man. I don't think you have to worry about the snow that the entire East Coast is getting because you're in Hawaii. Would you like to make us all jealous and tell us how beautiful it is there?
Oh yeah, it's always 80 degrees. Yeah, so nice.
As I'm sitting here in a sweatshirt, freezing my buns off, dude. It's even in North Carolina it's cold, so it's wild. So, hey man, tell me a little bit about yourself. Like I kind of gave you an intro, right? I know you went through, you got sick when you were young. You're obviously battled through that. You're a high school player now. Tell the people like a little backstory on that and kind of how you got into football, and then we'll get into your game here in a second.
I was always introduced into football, and we would always watch it. I knew I wanted to play it when I would watch it with my dad. I started playing football when I was 5 years old. I played flag football. My mom never let me play tackle until I was in 6th grade.
Yep.
Yeah, I got her to let me play. And
how'd you get her to let you play?
Lots of begging. lots of begging, and I said I always wanted to play tackle football.
Okay, because when I was a kid, my mom wouldn't sign the permission slip, and she was pretty tough, and I don't think I begged as hard as you did because I didn't play until I was in college, so I had to wait till I was over 18 to make my own choices. So that's good on you. I'm glad you did that. All right, man. Like, tell me about your game. Like, I've seen some of your film. You've carried the ball a little bit. You've played some tight end. You even threw like a halfback pass this year, I believe. So like,
Yeah.
I gave you pre-show. I told you about the term Swiss Army knife. Like that's any you can do a lot of different things. So tell me about why you do that. Is it more just because you love to play multiple positions, or is it just because you're being a good teammate? I'm curious why you played a bunch of different spots.
I love playing whatever position I can be in. I'm a team player, so whatever spot they put me, I'm always down to do it. Definitely that pass was fun. We started working on that a week before, and then we used it, and it was a great play.
Did you audible like our boy Cam Scattaboo did in the playoffs, where like apparently he essentially checked it to something else and then he just hit his receiver? Or was that like a plan? It was a planned halfback pass.
It was a plan. It was right before the second half. It was like there was like 10 or 50 seconds left, and we just said why not? Because we were already up, and it didn't really matter. So
yeah, it's fun.
We just put that play in before a half, and it worked. So yeah.
I love it. I love how you started by saying there was 10 seconds. Then you were like, no, it was more like 50. When you tell the story. When you tell the story, tell people it was 10 seconds, so it makes it more dramatic, like it happened at the buzzer. Yeah. So I like that. All right, man. You've lived all over. You obviously you're in Hawaii right now. I think Washington, Tennessee, Connecticut, I think some Massachusetts. What have you seen from each of these states in terms of the football, and which state would you consider home?
I say Hawaii is definitely home right now. The football is definitely different here.
Yep.
More aggressive. People work like year long just to focus on their skills and everything. And there's more pride in Hawaii when you play football, I guess.
We've talked off show about this. Like, do you think it has a lot to do with just the culture around Hawaii as a whole, like the Polynesian culture, like everything that goes into that? Do you think they take that kind of precision and being aggressive in football more seriously than maybe in the continental United States, like where all of us tend to live?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay. To make a name for themselves on the island, I'd say.
I like it. That's cool. All right. We got NFL playoffs and we got college football playoffs going on right now. We got the Final Four for college football. Who do you have in the college football championship? Like, who's winning the games? I think there's one tonight and tomorrow. So who's going to be playing in the finals for the college football playoff?
Okay, we got, I'd say, Notre Dame and Ohio.
You need to go Ohio State, Notre Dame, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
I think if we said that at the beginning of the year, the people would look at us like we were crazy, because I agree. I think it's going to be Texas and Ohio State. Ohio State and Notre Dame. All right. Of those two, who's winning? Ohio State or Notre Dame?
I want Notre Dame to win.
No. I didn't say who you want to win. Who do you think is going to win?
Ohio State.
Yeah. And I don't mean to press you. I'm just saying, like, I would rather Notre Dame won, but I think if Ohio State and Notre Dame play, I think Ohio State is going to be favored. Anything can happen, though, right?
Yeah.
All right. Pivot to the NFL playoffs. No games have been played yet. We're not that far ahead yet. So you have 7 teams in the AFC, 7 teams in the NFC. Just fast forward it. Who's playing in the Super Bowl?
I really want to say the Bills, but I think it's going to be the Lions and the Ravens, yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Ravens.
Lamar gets to the Super Bowl, huh?
Yeah.
I like that pick. That's interesting. We'll see. If he gets out of the first round, then all bets are off, I think. I think you might have something. I'm going to go Lions and Chiefs, man. Like, until someone beats the Chiefs, I can't pick against them. you know?
Yeah.
All right, last thing, and this is really cool. Actually, before I even get to the last question, it's something I wanted to ask you before, but we got off on having some fun. But if a coach is listening to this right now, we know that you're a team player. You played a million different positions. The film shows that. Why should someone recruit you? And where like if Jim Mora is the UConn coach, if Jim Mora looks at this and goes, all right, I'll give DJ a shot. Let's see like an opportunity to come play here. Why would he give you that opportunity?
I'm a team player, like I said before. Whenever it's called, I don't know. I'm a team player, I guess.
Yeah, you're fine, man. I'll ask it in a different way. If you could, if they ask you a direct question like, what makes you stand out, like that kind of thing, like is it going to be attention to detail? Is it you're going to stay later? Like all that stuff. Like what are you going to do? Work harder than everybody else? Those are the type of things. Are those the characteristics that you have going into to the program that you'll go to in college?
Oh, for sure. I'm always committed for the team and everyone around the program. I can be in any position either, and I'll do well in. Yeah, I'm just always committed to the team, I can say.
I love it, man. All right, last question. You can pick 4 players, and I don't know if you drive yet, but if you can drive, let's pretend whether you can or you can't. You're driving my car. I have a minivan. I take all these kids all over creation. Okay, so you take my minivan, but you got to pick up 4 college or NFL players, favorite players of all time, whoever it is, who's on the road trip from you. You're going from, I don't know, random city in California, and you're driving all the way to Maine. So it's a long trip. So who you got?
Josh Allen.
Okay.
Probably Gibbs, the Lions running back.
Jahmyr Gibbs. Okay.
Yeah. George Kittle. George Kittle looks like a cool guy.
I like that.
Gronk.
Ooh, that's okay. That's your 4.
Yeah,
so
that's
you have
4.
You have 2 tight ends.
Yeah.
See some tight end bias. That's cool. You might have some interesting music selections in that car ride. I'll tell you that right now. That's a full gamut of wild personalities. I don't know Jahmyr Gibbs that well, but like in terms of like, what he's about, but he's certainly an incredible player. So listen, man, I wish you all the best, and I can't wait to put this out so that people can see you and really hear your story. And honestly, anything we can do to help, we'll try. And we're happy to promote DJ Miller and his football life.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, brother. All the best. Attending the new 12-team college football playoff. Maybe UConn will be there one day. You never know. I can't imagine what that would be like. The excitement of past playoff games. We have UConn, Notre Dame, and Ohio State coming up on the 20th for the national championship. Got to be crazy ticket prices for there. But I guarantee you, if you use Gametime, you probably could find some great deals. It has an amazing new feature called Gametime Picks that makes finding tickets even easier. It filters out the fluff to show you the only best deals on great seats and things you can afford, saving you time and effort by cutting through the noise. When it comes to getting tickets for past events, I've already started planning on how I can use Gametime to set up my parents with amazing seats for the Big East tournament come March and April for the games at Madison Square Garden, especially because they live a train right away. These games are unforgettable, and the idea of getting them to watch them live is something I'm really excited to make happen. So let's take the guesswork out of buying tickets, folks, with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, and you redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Well, here he is. Let's get Jack Barton into the program. Let's bring him in now. Jack, what's up, man? Really appreciate you jumping on. I have to ask you a question right off the start because most people know in my background that I grew up in Connecticut and then I ended up moving down south.
Oh, yeah.
You did kind of the opposite. You started, you're from Atlanta. You played at Furman, which is in South Carolina. People didn't know that. And then the transfer to UConn. How did that all come about? I'm curious.
Well, so I transferred out of Furman and ended up at Georgia Tech for the spring of 24, and you know, we had some highs and lows at Georgia Tech, and I kind of felt like I needed to move on from that program. I thought I would be a better fit somewhere else. So I'm sitting there in the portal up at Furman, just kind of for the weekend, hanging out with some friends, and Coach Kenny McClendon called me up and pretty much spoke my language. Said he likes the way I play, he likes the way I like strike fear into the opponent, and I was like, all right, this guy knows what he's talking about and has obviously watched my film. I'm gonna go check it out. Dude, I pulled up to UConn and dude, it's like a diamond in the rough. Like there's really not much more to it other than you just got to go check it out, and once you see it, you'll understand why it's so like such a leader in the athletic industry and whatnot. So I don't know. I just saw their facilities and I was like, yeah, this is the spot. It's that simple.
What what was the like? You said diamond in the rough because I did a podcast based off of a Sports Illustrated article talking about the football and the basketball programs. Like essentially, what makes stores special is that you can not only just the facilities, but if you're a serious person and you want to work on your game, it's they have everything there for you. Like you
Yeah,
don't need, there's no distractions. Would that be a
literally.
good act?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
literally on point. Like I really didn't venture much outside of the campus unless I was like going to get gas or something. But it was relatively simple. You know, you walk over to the facility, hit it hard for about 6 hours, and then call it a day. I mean, nutrition bar, strength staff was elite, top of the class. I mean, like it was just everything that I really could have wanted, and they really didn't have that at Georgia Tech. So I was excited for that upgrade, honestly.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. And I honestly didn't even know that there was a small stop at Georgia Tech. So
Yeah.
that's a really cool. I don't think a lot of people do. So outside of the you know the coach speaking your language, you saw the campus as diamond in the rough. What about Jim Mora? I think
Oh,
coaches a lot of NFL experience, so I think most people kind of notice that like right off the bat. His dad has the famous playoffs thing. Like I'm just like
mhm.
what what about Jim is or Coach Mora is drew you to UConn outside of all of the stuff we just talked about?
Oh man, he is a wizard with his words. He pretty much explained to me exactly what I experienced when I got there. You know, I came from Furman, and at Furman we really cherished culture, and I think that that was pretty much the main reason that we won our conference championship there in 23. So when I came up to UConn, you know, I talked to Coach Brock and like Jelani Stafford and Dalmont and all those guys, and they pretty much just told me what it is. Like it's great culture. Everybody's trying to build something great. Went 3-9 last year. We're trying to hit it hard and really take this thing up a notch. And then I sat in Coach Mora's office, and he pretty much just said exactly what they said, and then just said it in like a really good way. And I was like, dude, like I can't lie to you. When I came to visit UConn, I was just doing it just out of respect for them, just giving me a chance, and I really wasn't planning on going to Connecticut. You know, it's
Wow. Okay.
just 15 hours away from home. Got 1 year. You know, I just didn't see myself there, and then I got up there, dude, and I was like, this is this is Furman at the FBS level. I'm just gonna. There's no other route here. I think this is it. And you know, Coach Mora is just he's really good with his words. He's a smart guy. He has a lot of connections. I was thinking like, you know, if I am going to go for the NFL, like it'd be good to have somebody like him in my corner. You know, I can hit up, ask for advice, whatnot, which I've already done multiple times. Just all around great program leader. I can't wait to see what he does next year.
What's something that you can tell us that people wouldn't know about the coaching staff? Like, I think people see Matt Brock is like a psycho out there, which we say at UConn with absolute like love and respect because with
Oh yeah.
Hurley and Gino and all those great coaches that are on campus. Uh, like something like that. Like, is there something that you can share without incriminating
Yeah.
anyone too hard? That people would be surprised to hear.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much spot on with Coach Brock being a psycho. That dude's a menace. He's the most intense coach I've ever had, aside from my strength coach at Furman. But he got me prepared for Coach Brock, to say the least. But no, I mean, Coach Tyson, the head strength coach, dude, he's a wizard when it comes to molding your body, making you strong. He's just as intense as Coach Brock when he needs to be, and that's something that you don't find very often in the collegiate level. But yeah, I mean, I don't. It's pretty much standard program. You know, the D line coach, he's I like the way Coach Mac coaches. We call him Coach Mac. He's kind of like I don't know. It's hard to explain. He's kind of a mean kind of guy when it comes to like you mess up the technique, he'll give you some stuff about it. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty standard, dude. I don't know.
I love it. I like it. I like it. I played 1 year of FCS football my senior year at Sacred Heart University. So
nice.
I'm very aware of the dynamics of different position coaches and their attitudes towards different things. But
DB coach is a clown. Linebackers coach is funny.
Strength coach is usually wild as hell.
Yeah.
Head coach is either one or the other because you have Jim Mora. He's obviously a smooth guy. Like definitely has been down the road before. Yeah. I know our coach at Sacred Heart was more on the Matt Brock side. Was kind of a psycho, but he was a big dude. I'll never forget. I don't know if you ever had this happen in the weight room. That dude came in and there were 3 plates on each side, like 315, and he was like 55 years old and just came up and like did like 10 reps for a joke and like walked out and be like, "You guys need to work harder." We're all like, "Okay,
yes, sir."
Yeah, okay, we got that. All right, so you're Atlanta boy in New England.
Yeah,
give me some like differences. Like I know, but I want you to tell the audience. I'm in North Carolina, so not even as far down as Georgia. There are differences culturally here in the South than there are in the North. Like, what's one thing that was like a stark difference, even like food wise? Like, give us like something there.
Well, I mean, food wise, it wasn't much different. My family, fortunately, is really good at cooking, so that's kind of never been an issue. And then Burton, pretty much, our football facility at UConn, pretty much matched the standard I was looking for. So that was nice. The one thing I will say, it snowed like one of our last weeks there. And I woke up and I was like, "Oh God, I'm screwed. Like I'm not gonna be able to drive anywhere. I have no food in my apartment." And then I texted one of my buddies, or Brady Fodor, who's Connecticut born and raised, and he was just like, "Dude, relax. Like they salted the road. Like you can get out there and drive." So that was cool because back in 2014 we got like something like 7 inches of snow in Georgia, and it was detrimental to everything. Like there were cars spun out on the road and just left there abandoned. So I don't know. That's kind of what I first saw was going to happen, but no, it didn't. It was awfully relaxed and easy to transition to. But
yeah, for those of you that don't know, again today in North Carolina we got 1 inch of snow. My son does not have school, so I am 1,000% with you on all of that. Yeah. All right, when we return, let's get a quick season overview, and I want to hear about the Fenway Bowl because that looked like a ton of fun. But we're going to talk about that coming up after the break. After the holiday hustle, there's nothing like giving your home a little TLC. I always find that decluttering and refreshing a space really helps me get back into a routine, whether you're tidying up or clearing out a closet or just sending things to Goodwill. Maybe you're done with some clothes. Making a new space look fresh in the new year is really everything you need. And Wayfair has everything you need all within your budget. Recently, I decided to tackle my home office, which had become a bit of a catch-all over the holidays. And I wanted a new desk that was functional, but also that would fit my style, something clean, modern, not too bulky for the space. Wayfair made the process so easy. I found the perfect piece that not only checked all my boxes, but also was well within my budget. So what's the best part? The delivery was actually completely hassle-free, quicker than I expected. And even for a larger item, now, every time I walk into my office, it feels like a whole new space. It's bright, organized, and it has me excited to dive into my work. Wayfair really helped me start the year off right at a home that feels refreshed and inspiring. And we're probably not going to stop there. We're definitely going to do some stuff in the living room. So get your home and refresh it. Give your home and refresh it needs with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That's wayfair.com. Wayfair. Every single style is home. All right, you're back on Locked On UConn with your host, Mark Zanetto. We have Jack Barton, now formerly a UConn Husky. Dude, tell me about the experience. Let's go the season as a whole. You know, you come out, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say hype, but there's a lot of promise for the start of the season. And the Maryland game happens. And not to bring up old, negative stuff, but that was a rough one, man. Like for fans, for media alike. And I just like, what was the locker room like after that?
Yeah, well, I feel like we all kind of came in, at least the transfers kind of came in with the same mission. Like we wanted to do something, the locker room after the Maryland game was kind of more like, what the heck was that? We all came for better than that. Let's hit the ground running and go win the next one. We kind of had that 2-3 game stretch where I think it was 2 games where, like the competition was a little bit easier, and we just kind of had like the opportunity to kind of like staple ourselves and really establish like who we are as a team the next couple weeks. Because I don't know, we weren't ready for Maryland. Nobody really kind of expected that. But yeah, Merrimack came around. We figured we'd get our bearings, and it was pretty much all up from there.
Yeah, absolutely. You crush Merrimack. Really tight, close game right in my backyard here in North Carolina at Duke. I don't know how much you know about UConn's history with Duke, but of all the games that you played this year, that was the most upset I was.
Yeah, me too.
I wanted to beat Duke so bad.
I totally agree.
But I mean, listen, man, fantastic season, right? You crushed Florida Atlantic, Buffalo, like an iconic win over Temple with the fumble recovery.
Yeah, that was sick.
Close loss against Wake Forest. We can't play Jim Mora's clip because we're not allowed to swear on the podcast. The Rice win, Georgia State, the whole bit. Even the Syracuse game, man. Like I thought that was a big step forward for UConn.
Yeah.
But it takes us all the way to the end. You're playing 2 quote unquote basketball schools playing in a baseball stadium in Boston in Fenway Park. What was that experience like?
Yeah, I mean, that was probably number 1 for me. That was like the best game I've ever been part of. The thing is like UNC didn't really come out swinging. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they kind of were defeated from the get-go, and I think it goes to show that if a team is whooping the opponent in a bowl game in this new portal era, I think it just proves culture is just strong at those programs. I think the only loss in the bowl game that I would say disagrees with that is like Jacksonville State. Just like good teams that have that are going to do good next year. I feel like if you have like 8 guys in the portal, then there's obviously a problem. Like there's obviously like a big like issue with like these players that just don't want to play in that last game. That last game is just as important to the seniors as it is to the coaches. So if you got guys that don't want to be part of that, then there's obviously something fundamentally wrong. So yeah, it was fun. We went and whooped UNC. It was really cool to play at Fenway Park. I've heard a lot about it growing up, and it felt good because we didn't have any success against the P5 teams, and like at that point of the season, the only thing we wanted was to beat a P5 team. So when they came out and kind of rolled over, we were like, all right, let's smack them down because we're tired of this. Screw the ACC. ACC had been messing with us all year long, man, and we were just like, we need to take these guys down. So we came out hitting hard and took them out.
I love it.
So happy to do it.
I am a lot of our fan base at UConn are Red Sox fans. I am not one of them. I grew up in the middle of Connecticut on the southern side. I grew up a Yankee fan. Are you a Braves fan growing up in Georgia, or like what was okay?
Braves.
Give you a quick. Last time I was in Fenway Park, Red Sox, Braves. I was there for work. And I got a whole section of people. This was when the Red Sox were in last place to start a chant called saying "Last place, Red Sox." So I had to throw that on the podcast for all my Red Sox listeners to get mad about. But anyway, that's my last. Your version of Fenway Park is a lot better than mine.
Yeah,
I can tell you that
for sure.
How weird was it to have both sidelines essentially like this, like where they're on the same side as you? Like that's got to be difficult. Like
I mean,
what was that like?
It was definitely a lot to kind of like learn, but we had repped it all week in practice the couple weeks leading up to it, so it really wasn't that much of a problem. I kind of like it because I'm the type to like talk a little smack, so like it was pretty easy to do that when they're right there, or like we're walking off the same direction of the field, or like timeout, we're kind of huddled up 5 yards apart. I kind of liked it. I think the crowd probably enjoyed it too, because like you get a good view of everybody and you kind of see who's coming in and out, just like in basketball.
That's true.
I don't know, something to it.
That's pretty cool. All right, so there's been a lot of talk, whether it's been on my show or on others, about a UConn to the Big 12. I don't think anyone would accept. I mean, probably would, but I don't think it's in the cards to do the ACC.
Yeah.
Do you think if UConn you're not coming back next year. We all know that. You don't have eligibility. You're going to go to the pros. You know, do you think the Big 12 do you think UConn's ready for the Big 12 next year?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, when I first got there, I was thinking like within the next 3 years they'd be at least they'd be P4, because I mean, like I said, the facilities are P4 level, the recruiting's P4 level, the NIL will be P4 level as soon as it's needed to be P4 level. I think they have everything they need. I really think that UConn it would actually be UConn versus everybody if they got in P5 or P4, especially like Coach Moore at the helm. Like, look at Bill Belichick going to the UNC. Like, these NFL coaches are gonna do good in this new wild west of college football. Like, there's no arguing that, because now it's not about this is a good academic school, come play for us. It's now like, hey, we got money. I know how to do this. I know free agency. Like, come on, UConn's gonna get you to wherever you need to go. If you want to leave next year, pull up. We'll play you for a year, and then you can go somewhere else and go play. I think the plug and play is going to be something great for UConn, like it proved this year. Yeah, I really think the sky's the limit with this place, especially with the leadership and the like funding that they have right now.
I love it.
I would definitely bet your money on UConn.
I think a lot of fans will be happy to hear those sentiments. Last thing, man, we want to hear about what's next for you. I know that you're training right now, getting yourself ready for what's next for you. Like, what are the next steps?
Yeah, so I'm doing the Tropical Bowl here in about 2 weeks, and that'll be down in Orlando, Florida. So that'll be cool. Play against some do a little all-star game action, you know, put my name out there a little bit more and see what I do at a level against other guys that are kind of in the same boat as me. And then after that, we got our pro day in like end of March. So I'm gonna just be training for pro day, do a little track training, see if I can get my 40 down below like a 4.8, 4.7 or something. But
what's the target? What's the target on the 40?
Yeah, I mean, if I went out there and ran like a 4.65 at 270, I feel like I'd be pretty happy with that.
So I think so too.
Yeah.
What do you think, like, before training? What do you think if you went out and ran right now? What do you think it would be?
Definitely below 5. I feel like I'd probably get like 4.8, 4.9.
Okay.
But been a while. I haven't ran a 40 since high school.
Yeah, it's weird, like how they make you do like the underwear Olympics when it's just about football. Like I don't understand it. But that's cool, man. Like, what do you think? Like, if an NFL team happens to like pick this up and just like looks at it, like, why should someone draft you? Why should someone sign you as a free agent once everything's said and done?
I think culture wins championships, and I think I'm a really good culture guy. I also do some crazy stuff on the field at times. I'm a pretty disciplined player at this point. I really wasn't a disciplined player at Furman, but over the past year, I've kind of learned to understand why that's necessary. I don't know. I just think I bring a level of juice and energy. I may not be the best at my position, but I damn well do my job. Sorry for the language, but
you're good, man. Damn is okay.
I think I'll be good. I think I'll be helpful to any program that takes a shot on me.
Well, I do know my Giants need a lot of help. So if you end up there, I'll be rooting for you. I'll be rooting for you no matter what, man. We really appreciate you jumping on the show. All right, that's Jack Barton. We really appreciate him. That's another episode of Locked On UConn. Ask you to stay locked on, stay connected. Make sure you're supporting the UConn football team, and sky's the limit. Roll skis.
Huskies, there's everybody.